I knew that from the beginning. But the truth be known, I wanted you to all know, you three parties, because that's the only ones I'm really interested in. I mean, I wanted to always treat the lawyers well, but I wanted you to know the way I was.
If you have Comcast digital cable, you have On Demand. It's free and amazingly easy. Love movies? Just tune to Channel 1, pick a category, choose a title, then play.
She just said she loved her with all of her heart, and I think what's most important is that we're all trying to work together too.
And on behalf of Howard, Virgie, and Larry, Larry will be seeing his daughter very soon at the funeral, and I just want to say thank you to Howard.
Thank you guys for coming.
Okay.
Is there going to be a funeral, a public
We
funeral?
can't talk about that.
No
comment.
Is the show of unity right now any indication of things to
I
come?
appreciate it.
We hope so. We all hope so.
When will the funeral be?
We can't talk about the funeral.
Will it be a public?
We're
not discussing.
We're not discussing the funeral.
I mean, it's not a public funeral.
We don't want to discuss it.
Okay, that's not.
And Krista will say something. Speak on behalf of Howard. Krista or
Everything else still has to be decided.
I mean, everybody's working together to arrange the details, and hopefully it'll turn into what it should be, a very private family matter.
That's
You all can go home.
Everyone's to work equally and together, and the parties and all the attorneys are in agreement. Anna deserves the best and the privacy.
All right. I request that you all stay here, and in the next 15 minutes I'm going to be back. I'm going to pronounce the disposition of this case, and I hope when you hear it, you handle it with the respect and dignity that Nicole Smith would want. I hope when you hear it, you handle it so that little Danny Lynn can have this respect in the future, because I think she'll look at these proceedings, they'll be available. I think we all handle ourselves pretty well. I think it was a lot of he said, she said, and I think there's reasons why these things were said. All right, you want a decision. You don't want any more talk. I'm gonna go back there, and I'm gonna review this. And we'll see you in about 15 minutes.
Court stands in recess for 15 minutes.
Yes.
Our brief is on its way. We understood to be 4 o'clock.
I don't need it.
I don't mean brief, proposed order.
Yeah, I don't need it. I don't need it. Your request for an extension of time is denied. Doc, you'll stay with me right here. Thanks.
There you see the judge, Judge Simon, leaving the bench, announcing he will have an outcome, a ruling in the next 15 minutes. Don't worry, we're not leaving the courtroom. Let's go out to the two lawyers joining me, Eleanor Dixon and Doug Burns. Eleanor, what do you make of it?
Well, I think it's very interesting. First of all, the judge obviously has made a decision, but it's going to take a break. And he kept saying, I'm going to have the decision in a few minutes, and then kept talking. My big concern in watching all this was the witness he had over the phone. Because how can you judge the credibility of a witness if you can't see them actually testify in person? And to me, that was astounding that that happened.
Well, you know, Eleanor, what we're seeing right here, and I'm sure you and Doug will agree, is a tiny peek into the way that many cases are handled. This is a probate judge, an appointed judge. He's not elected. There is no jury. So all the wrangling didn't have an effect on a jury the way it would in other cases, which in my mind makes it less disturbing. If there had been a jury seeing this cat fight, it would have been much, much worse. I get the very strong sense he's leaning toward the Bahamas. Agree or disagree, Doug Burns?
I don't know. I thought he might have telegraphed it as though he was going to release the body to the mother. Mm-hmm. The reason I say that, look, I don't have a crystal ball, Nancy, but he said, you know, I realize that the son is already buried in the Bahamas, as though that's going to be a tension when he rules that Anna Nicole can go back with the mother. So it's hard to say.
Interesting. And to you, Eleanor Dixon, what's the legal point? What are the legal points, pro and con, each person getting the remains? You've got the boyfriend, the lawyer/boyfriend, and the mother.
Well, I think the mother has, of course, because the body can go either with a parent or with a spouse. And I think the trick here is, was she legally married to Howard Stern? That's the big issue.
What about the executorship? Joining me right now, Jean Casares. Jean, thank you for coming out of the courtroom. Bring us up to date.
Oh, Nancy, the emotion of that courtroom completely changed in just the last few minutes. It was silent, it was somber, and the judge was getting emotional on the stand. Could you tell that, Nancy? Could you see that he was tearing up? He was choked up. He had to stop talking to try to contain himself from actually crying on that stand, I think.
Jane, I saw the whole thing, and for him to stop talking, frankly, was a miracle. But it did tell me something very important. That aside from all of his grandstanding and BSing, frankly, on the stand, it was highly inappropriate, he's very emotionally invested in the case. That is not a bad thing. I had it up to here with all of his yapping, but you know what? Without a jury, it really doesn't matter. All that yakking doesn't hurt anything. It just makes the clock go by. But Gene, when I saw him with that response, I realized how much to heart he is taking this ruling.
I knew that from the beginning, though, Nancy, because all the little thing that he said that can be taken out of context, he's directing it towards some aspect of this case, every single thing. Now, Nancy, remember also, he can say that the little baby Danny Lynn, under law in the state of Texas, has the legal right to this body. That's another thing he can rule.
Joining me right now, my two colleagues, Jack Ford, Ashley Bannifield. To you, Jack, what's your prediction?
You know, Nancy, if I'm the judge, I'll go it that way. I think that I would look at this, and following on what Jean said, I would say the direct line of descent is the child. I've appointed a reputable lawyer who, as the judge said, doesn't have a dog in this fight to represent the interests of the child. I suspect that's what I would probably do. Say, I'm going to put the decision in your hands. I would like you to pay attention to all of the testimony you've heard about the intention of Anna Nicole Smith, listen to the intentions of the mother, and then you make a call as the representative of the child. Because remember, and we've all talked about this judge is not going to order where Anna Nicole Smith is going to be buried. He's going to order who has the ability to make that decision. So, Nancy, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he does.
Well, Jack, one small correction. A detail that is subtle but very important. Jackie said he didn't have a dog in the race.
Yeah, you're right, Nancy. We were mixing metaphors.
Because
you're
when I heard
right.
that, it really struck me wrong, but then I realized in where he is, they have an abundance of dog races.
Dog races. You're absolutely
So it all started fitting together for me, Jack. Hey, Ash, what do you think? What's your prediction?
Well, you know, I've been feeling different every 10 minutes, but within the last two witnesses, I thought it was very unusual that witnesses who should have been up on the stand sort of defending Virgie Arthur's position backfired for her. First, Ford Shelley said, I got to be honest, I may feel bad about this later, but she did say she wanted to be buried beside her son. And then the next witness, who really didn't appear in court, but we heard his voice, who was Anna Nicole's very first husband from way back in 1985, Billy Smith, he also said Anna would have wanted to be buried beside her son. And then in the next phrase, and if I had the money or the means, I would have wanted to bring him back here. But I think those two witnesses may be, you know, sort of sitting very powerfully in Judge Seidlin's mind at this point. I just get the impression that Anna Nicole's decision-making will come out of the Bahamas.
Well, I heard them speaking as well. Now, I didn't notice the exaggerated accent as you did.
I pick up on all of them, Nancy. Yours too.
To Dr. Robbie Ludwig, psychotherapist and author. Robbie, I know that at this juncture, psychiatrist or psychologist opinion is not something the judge is going to weigh, but he did seem very invested in how this would affect the child. What do you think?
No, I think he really does care. And one thing that nobody questions is Anna Nicole Smith loved her son, and she was a very dedicated mother, regardless of what you think about her. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer to believe that she would want to be by her son. Now, who gets to make that decision? I don't know, but I actually like what Jack was saying. I like the idea of putting it in the daughter's hands and letting somebody who is completely neutral make that decision.
Well, since the daughter is 5 months old, I would think that the law would control, Eleanor, the law, not what a 5-month-old baby may want in 18 years. Certainly, the law in Florida controls what the outcome should be, Eleanor.
Exactly, and then you've got another problem if the judge gives custody, if you will, of the body to the daughter, then you just are putting off the decision onto someone else. I don't know, I'm leaning towards the Bahamas, I think.
Joining me also, a very special guest, Dr. Michael Hunter. He is joining us out of Florida as well. He's a forensic pathologist. During all of this, it's abundantly clear the big concern is the body is decaying as they speak. So while all the lawyers, 18 in total, wrangle in the courtroom, in the end, we see a re-emergence, a reappearance of Dr. Joshua Perper. He's the one, in my mind, that's ever made any sense at all. So, Dr. Hunter, at this juncture, given the decay of the body, how safe is it for the body to even travel to have another viewing or funeral?
I really don't think there's going to be a problem. When you look at the time frame that's gone by before the embalming, you're talking about a week and a half. They probably caught decomposition early enough, so once the embalming occurs, the viewing is going to be able to occur, and they're going to be able to ship her to wherever she needs to go to probably have an open casket and a viewing. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
You know, another thing, Dr. Hunter, the whole theory of holding a body to get DNA is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. You can get DNA from a speck of blood. Holding this body up in order to get even more DNA samples was a huge, huge tactical blunder in my mind.
You know, to me, it was a complete waste of time. Every medical examiner in this country, when they do an examination of an individual, are going to take specimens from that person. They're going to take blood. They're going to take tissue specimens. And in most medical examiners' offices, they're going to actually have filter paper in which they will place blood spots. So let's say years down the road, someone wants to do DNA testing, it's available. And the best DNA that you're going to get and be able to test is that initial specimen. And they had that day one.
Back to you, Doug Burns. What do you do with a judge like this that whose personality seems to take over the courtroom?
You know, it's very interesting because yesterday I totally agreed with all the pundits who were saying that they felt that he was an oddball.
Whoa, you were listening to the pundits?
But I'll tell you what.
You know, half of them have never tried a case. I don't know why you were listening to them.
No, but joking aside, he has gone way up, seriously, in my estimation today. I think it's heartfelt. He wants to do the right thing. And that's all you can ask from a judge. I mean, his quirky behavior notwithstanding, I think he's taking it very seriously. But also, you know, it's interesting. He wants to resolve it by agreement of the parties, which is a smart move. That's what really should happen.
These parties are never going to agree, Eleanor Dixon. That's not going to happen. These parties agree. Are you kidding?
I know. It's an adversarial system. I think the judge was probably heartfelt, but at the same time, he's a judge. He's here to make the tough decision. They get paid the big bucks. You don't need to sit around and be so congenial necessarily. He was calling Nicole Smith's mom, Mama. I think that's a little informal in the courtroom.
Well, I think it's greatly informal. Back out to you, Gene Casares. Again, had there been a jury, it would have been much, much more inflammatory and damaging for this judge to go on and on and on. I know about his family, his jogging, his tennis, his appointment, his prior elections, everything, that and more. I know he wants to a judge show like Judge Judy. We don't need to know this. I don't need to know his history. But the reality is, it did not affect the proceedings in that he is a trier of fact, and there was no jury to be inflamed or prejudiced in any way, Gene.
That is right, and I'm sure he knew that, and I'm sure that's why he felt he had the freedom to do this. This is a court of equity. He is actually called, not only is he a judge in that courthouse, he's also a mediator. And I saw as the proceedings went on that that was what he was trying to accomplish with all of this in conjunction with the probate proceeding itself.
Well, a good thing that I've seen, and I hope you agree with me, Eleanor and Doug, let me go back also to Jack Ford, also a veteran trial lawyer. I'd rather have a yappy judge on the stand, Jack, than a judge who really doesn't care, who is burned out. Every case is just another case. They're rude. They show their rump more than they show the case law. He wasn't like that. I've got to give him credit. At least I believe this judge cares about the ruling.
I think you're right. He deeply cares about it. And I think what we have to keep in mind, we're so used to showing, as you said, Nancy, jury trials. And judges handle juries very differently. Some of the best judges I ever appeared in front of were what we call chancery division judges. In New Jersey, that's the title for judges who make decisions without jurors. And I can think of 3 of them off the top of my head. Very much outsides personalities, Nancy. One would stand up and march around the courtroom, interrupt constantly, because they're used to working without juries. And the approach is very different. Their personalities do become introduced into the proceedings there. But I got to tell you something. Ultimately, although they were big personalities and had quirks, and sometimes as a trial lawyer they would drive you nuts, eventually you knew that they truly believed that their search was for justice, for equity, to do the right thing. And sometimes they're the best judges. They are different. There is no doubt that this judge was different, and if you're a lawyer trying a case in front of him, he might be very frustrating for you. But just because his approach is different, we shouldn't condemn his ability to render decisions. We don't know what's going to be here, and a lot of people might disagree with him, but I think the important thing to keep in mind is, as everybody has noted, he seems to be very passionate about the need for justice in this case.
To Dr. Robbie Ludwig, there have been a lot of attacks on Howard Stern for allegedly enabling Anna Nicole Smith to use drugs.
Yeah.
That was incredibly irrelevant in this proceeding. We heard all about their dirty laundry in a proceeding. It's highly inappropriate. P.S. everybody, the photos, the video we're showing you is a live feed from the courtroom. This is what's happening in the courtroom right now as we wait for the judge. He should be back in just a few moments with the ultimate ruling in this case. I really didn't think it's fair for people on the outside to throw stones at Stern. I'm not saying I agree with him.
No.
But we see it, Robbie, with people that are alcoholics, drug abusers. The family sometimes doesn't know what to do with the person.
It's true. And I felt sorry for Howard K. Stern. You know, I really did. He might be a codependent personality and loved Anna Nicole so much that the only way he could be in her inner circle was to feed her drugs. And you have to remember, with drug addicts, they're really, really manipulative. They lie and they're good at getting what they want. Maybe he wasn't able to not give her what she wants. It's not clear at this point.
Okay, we're looking in the courtroom. Everyone has taken their seats. The bailiff is coming out of the judge's chamber. That's the judge's chamber right there. You just saw her disappear. That suggests the judge is coming. All rise. Let's go live.
Please be seated and no talking, please. All cell phones off.
I'm going to read the essence of my disposition concerning this. I want it to be crystal clear first that